No, you didn't see anything wild. These are just scratch is the scratch drive, which means that's where I put all of these recordings before I go ahead and either review them and post them or delete them. I don't have any weird stuff like that. I was thinking because that guy the other day, he just he opened up his computer on a live stream. Like he opened a folder and exposed all of these places that you shouldn't go. But you can check my history because I'm really a really boring person. I'm a very boring person. Baby Boo, it's a song. Another song. Another drum and bass. What we got right now? GPUs or something. Wait, what was that? No, grills. Like, who's this comfortable to open up their history live? OMP, yeah, baby. That's what you're not gonna find anything weird. You're gonna find a bunch of pictures of helicopters. That's what you'll find. A bunch of websites for helicopters. and maybe some drum and bass. Oh, go back. We're gonna do some lessons. We're gonna get started here. Let me see, I might start a stream. I don't think so. I think I'll just post it later because the streams always get bumped. They lose quality somewhere, like, or just completely drop out for sections of the video. I'll post it later. Let's start with a new heli so we get a fresh battery. It's been idling for a while. And I found out you can put this up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's it right there in the bottom right. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with just the basics, like getting hovering and basic getting used to maneuvering. So right now our collective, which is the left stick, is basically we're basically around neutral. Let me check. And you should be doing this with your actual radio, which will, like, if you get a Radio Master or something similar, you're going to be able to go ahead and plug that into your computer and then use it to fly in the simulator. And that's what you want to do. You want to have your reference radio, what you use for now until you get a better one day. Anyways, so I'm gonna move it over here. And then we'll get started. I want it like kind of in front of us. Plus I need to warm up too. Let me get warmed up. I haven't flown today. And get used to it again real quick. Alright, I'm gonna put it down right here. There we go, set it. So we got it set down. And you'll notice that we'll start, before we even get off the ground, we'll go over how this actually works. Like how the helicopter actually works. I'm going to turn it so it's sideways. And to do that, I'm just pushing on the left stick, left. Alright, let's move it over so it's sideways there. Now, right now you'll notice it's sitting pretty flat. And if I push forward on cyclic, we'll notice that the nose starts to go forward. And it kind of stayed there, didn't it? It didn't settle back down. It just stayed where it was. And that's how the radios are going to work on your helicopter's cyclic side. The cyclic side is going to stay, when you make an input, that input will be entered, and I let go of the radio. If you watch the stick down there in the bottom right corner, you're going to see it move either forward or backwards right now because we're just playing with cyclic forward and backwards. But after I make my input, you can see it goes back to center on the radio on the right hand stick. I mean, left hand depends if you have a right or left hand mode 1 or mode 2 setup. This would be considered a mode 2 setup, which puts collective on your left stick and it puts your cyclic on the right hand stick gimbal. I call them sticks. Some people might call them gimbals. So you can see if I tilt back a little bit, we'll start nosing up and the tail is going to start coming back towards the pavement. If we touch the pavement with the tail, it'll become a problem. The same is true if we start nosing forward. The blades can indeed strike the pavement well before you actually get those skids to the point where the nose will touch. The nose of the helicopter will touch well after the blades made contact with the pavement. In this particular helicopter, this isn't a problem on smaller ones so much. I don't have. It becomes a problem when you reach these kind of scales. This is a 700, and that 700 they're measuring the diameter of the blades. I believe that is. So it's 700 millimeters from like one side to the other. And so let's go ahead and continue. We'll get let's maybe do a little hover. The same is true real quick. We'll do left and right cyclic. So if I go left, it'll just sit there like that now. It's just gonna sit there and wait for us to tell it to do anything else. This is important now when we get flying. You got to remember that's how this works. If you make an input, it's going to just do that now until we go and take it back out. Push, left, until I can see that the skids become flat on the pavement. We can do it slowly. If I add an input, if I just keep pushing on, like right now I'm pushing left and I'm just going to keep holding it very lightly, it's going to start tilting the other way now, see? And I'm going to go right, real slow. And it takes its time. You can see when it settles down flat, right about there. So that means we know that we're level flat on our skids, or pretty close. And that's important because now when we start adding collectives to take off and enter a hover, this helicopter is going to go in whatever direction that the blades, the swash plate, if it's not flat 90, it's gonna go in whatever direction that is. So like, let's say if we add it like this and we go to take off, it's just gonna go left. It's just actually probably gonna crash. So I'm not gonna let it do that. Bring it back. And I'm just gonna put it right here. Actually, I want to be over a little more. And this is like, you can see what I'm doing right now. I'm barely adding collective just to where we get the skids to come up and start getting movement. Right about here, actually, we can play around with this a little bit. And this is actually before we've entered into any sort of hover. It's like the threshold before it actually leaves the pavement. And when it's like this, we can push forward a little bit and it's gonna start creeping forward. I'm going left and right on the cyclic to kind of help it, because it'll wander. Like it's gonna go that way now it's going forward. Let's pull back on the cyclic. It's gonna start coming, well, it can't come back because we don't have enough lift. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the cyclic how it is because I know I tilted it back a little bit. I'm not gonna touch right stick at all. I'm gonna start adding a little bit of collective on left stick. And you can see I touched the rotor too by accident, so it turned a little bit. So now we're hovering in ground effect. I'm gonna go right cyclic. I'll say right. If I go right cyclic, I'll just say right. So we don't have to say cyclic every time, and we don't have to say collective every time we speak. We'll just start saying up and down for going up and down. And I'm gonna say forward, backwards, left, and right when we're speaking about the right hand stick. And then when I say, rotate, maybe I'll just say it. I'm gonna rotate it left or rotate it right. You'll see now, we'll go over that real quick with the tail. If we push left on the stick, you'll see that the tail goes to the right and the nose goes left. If we push left stick, the nose is going to start aiming to the right and the tail is going to start aiming to the left. Let's bring it flat, squared up with us again. And you can see the skids and stuff. Your reference is the helicopter, okay? Your visual perception of it. And you'll become extremely familiar with that when you get flying. And you need to be. You need to know where the tail is. You need to know where the nose is. Not knowing where those things are or confusing them usually results in a very fatal crash. Because you're gonna either end up powering it once we actually get into 3D, you'll end up either powering it into the pavement or, in a direction you weren't intending. If you lose orientation, like am I upside down or which way is the tail facing? Have to hydrate real quick. All right, so we're gonna start adding a tiny amount of collective. When you touch your collective stick for the first time, you either side, but I mean especially on your collective, you want to be very subtle with your inputs. All right, so we're gonna start just bumping this. We're gonna just go up a smallest amount possible on our collective, and then if we don't get any lift yet, then we'll add a little bit more. Until we get like this, till where it just starts to come up off the ground. You can see we have some collective is back right now. We have a little bit of collective back because it started to come towards us. And now it didn't. Now it's starting to go the other way. I'm not touching anything right now. It's just gonna end up wandering around the parking lot. So if you see it going left, go ahead and counter it with a little bit of the right cyclic, and you can see what happened there. What happened? All of a sudden we lost some altitude, and it kind of sat down, and then now it's picking up again. And if we go left, we'll stop it from moving to the right, and we'll make a few corrections because when we countered it actually sent us backwards. The helicopter, if you're not telling it anything, if you take off the ground from 90 degrees, it'll do this. It's gonna kind of wander. I'm not doing anything. I'm still not touching the sticks right now. It's gonna just kind of wander around in random directions, and it might end up a mile away in this direction or that direction. It could end up over there in the forest or in the tree somewhere. Yeah. It won't go any higher than this, but it's gonna wander. It looks like we have propensity to go that way, so maybe there's a breeze. All I did was barely touch to the right. Now it's going forward and to the right a little bit. I'm gonna touch back a little bit. You saw the tail come down a little bit. I'm gonna do a little more back. I'm gonna go to the left a little bit. I'm gonna go forward a little bit. See, now we're slowing it down. We're gaining control over it. While you're in a hover, you don't really need to, you're not necessarily touching the collective stick at all, unless maybe you need to rotate. And you'll see as we rotate, I haven't touched cyclic, but we started to move. Let's find out why that happened. Let's bring it back over and get into a hover right here. You can see there I'm like doing things to get it to stop moving and then to get it settled and squared up again. You're basically just always countering the last input you made. You're just trying to make it stay in one spot. It's not gonna want to. So if it starts to go left, you can just keep telling it left and right, back and forward, left, right, back, forward. You're making tiny little adjustments at a time. Or, depending on how exaggerated you want to be. But if you're trying to keep it in a steady, like just a little locked in hover, you're going to be playing with the cyclic the entire time. I mean, like, you get it like that and let go, it's going to start going to the left or something. So then you just got to keep playing with it. Let's put a new battery in. You just got to keep playing with the cyclic all the time to keep it from wandering away from you. So when you first get your 3D helicopter, I do not recommend that you learn or use attitude control or any of that stuff. You want to learn how to do this correctly the first time. You don't want to be like me, who learned on, you know, helicopters with attitude control, because they teach you all of the wrong, like they teach you backwards. Like the way that this works is not the same at all as the, like the, what they maybe called like a toy grade or a scale helicopter. And by that I mean like the you know, RC era, and I'm not dogging them because they're great and they're fun. Or I'm trying to think of another brand. It's like Zing or something, you know, they're really expensive. You can pay $1,000 for them, and they are locked in ADDI mode. That means you can't do any 3D stuff. It also means that the way the sticks work is not the same. On those controllers, it's more like a 3D, a quadcopter, or, you know, a drone. So the sticks are always in the center until you make an input. They auto center back, and that one works like if you push forward, it'll go forward until you let go of the stick, and then it'll stop and it'll stay put. It'll do all of the hovering for you. Okay, I'm kind of hard. It'll do all of that hovering cyclic controls for you to keep it in one spot. And when you want to go forward, you just start pushing forward until you don't want to go forward, and then you let go of the stick, which returns to center. That is not how a helicopter works in 3D helicopter world. It's the opposite. And we went over that at the beginning, so if you didn't hear that part, you need to hear the beginning again. But we're not talking about that. We're not going to learn like that. And you definitely don't want to learn that way on your 3D helicopter, because you're going to have to go back and relearn correctly how to fly the helicopter once you get bored of ADDI mode. And it hurts your brain. It's like, it's not good. I don't think it's a good idea. It's going to make you take longer, I think, probably to learn the 3D mode, which should be the only mode you're using, is like the correct one. So let's continue then with the lesson. We got our skids are pretty flat, and right now, like I was saying earlier, we're just bumping collective forward a little bit, and then, you know, bring it back, and you'll see it get flat. Like if I push forward, it'll start coming, the rear will come up, start going back. It's going back. So let's try to make it kind of flat on the ground. I feel like it's pretty flat, right? So then we're gonna start adding our collective. I can tell it isn't flat. You'll know, right, when you start to add collective. When you start adding your collective, it's gonna either go left, right, forward, or backwards, or some combination of them, right? So once you see it doing that, you'll know you weren't 90 degrees. So then just make your adjustment so it stays in where you want it, hovering, if that's what we're trying to do. For the first probably while, you don't want to get into any situations that you're uncomfortable with. So just let it drift around the parking lot and play with your cyclic while it's in a hover like this. And we'll bring it back. We'll talk about why does it start moving when we rotated the tail? Like, why did that happen? We'll talk about it real quick. Let me bring up the hover a little bit. So I just add a little bit of collective at a time. It'll go up to a point and then it'll settle. Like, it won't want to go any higher. So you can see my collective stick is not showing for some reason. It's showing left and right. It's not showing up and down. I just noticed that on the screen. So I'll have to actually tell you when I'm adding collective. I guess we're not going to get to see that. I'm bringing it to where we can kind of watch the skids from eye level. Get it to settle. And you'll see, yeah, that's kind of good. You'll see the whole helicopter's kind of leaning to the right. It's leaning right. and it's moving away from us. Let me bring it back. So remember when I said if we set the cyclic to a position, it stays there until you take that input back away. Helicopters, they don't hover completely flat because the blades are, they have torquing and there's centrifugal gyroscopic effects going on and such. So the thing leans to the left or the right depending on probably blade rotation. I'm going to go with. Yeah, because I think I have helicopters. They have the tail rotor on the other side and the main rotors turn the other way, and they will lean to the left a little bit because of that. So it just depends on like what kind of helicopter setup it is. But you see, it's leaning, and we know that if we make an input, it stays that way until we take it away. So that means we're like this whole thing is leaning, but it'll hold a hover like this. However, if we start rotating the tail, it's going to come towards us. Watch. It's actually going to go that way now. And it'll start moving that way. But that's because it's leaning now. As you rotate it, it's now, instead of locked into that hover, it's leaning, and the cyclic is basically leaning now in a different direction as you turn the tail around. I hope that makes sense. Bring it back over. So you need to be aware of that every input you make with the helicopter is like it's making the input you wanted, and then you usually get one thing you didn't want. Like, we weren't asking the helicopter to move, we were just asking it to rotate. Now if I rotate fast, it doesn't have time. Whoops. It doesn't have time to change direction, so it just rotates. We can spin here and it'll actually probably start to wander. We can cancel it, go the other way, cycle it forward a little bit, square it up again, get it back into a hover, and then I can start lowering collective, and then it stopped. It went down a little bit and then it stopped. Let's bring it back. It's always wanting to go forward. This one. I'm gonna take a little more collective out. I'm gonna keep taking collective out and it'll keep dropping, but it won't go any further than wherever that part of the, wherever you've got the collective stick. It'll go down to that level and then it'll stop going down. Now I'm starting to drag the skids and I'm touching the pavement now, and I just did that very slowly. Bring it back a little bit and put it down here. Get the skids flat again. I'm going slow, like I'm practicing, like it's my first day. Like that's what I'm doing right now. It's not my first day, it's my third day. Or no, I guess this would be day 4 now, yeah, day 4. So we probably got about actual flight hours, maybe 10 flight hours. And I've never flown a 3D helicopter until 3 days ago. Or this would be like my 4th time logging in on the simulator. Trying to hydrate real quick. It's locked in a real good hover right now. I'm not touching this radio at all. It almost looks like it's parked, don't it? But you see now it's starting to drift towards us because air, there's air currents. Even when you get it locked in perfectly, a moment later there might be a breeze going this way or that way. Even if there's zero breeze, it's still going to kind of end up wandering around. It's getting pushed around by its own, rotor wash sometimes. You'll notice that when you come around other objects. You need to be aware of this because if you come off of a tabletop, let's say, just so we can keep up with what I'm trying to say. If you were to launch this off of a table, let's say you had get a reference of where the ground is. Let's say you are on a table this high, and you took off from the table and went into a hover like this. And then you went off of the table without touching your collective. As soon as you come off the table, the helicopter's gonna drop to that new level. The table was there before giving you a ground effect. And now you took the table away. So the first thing it does is readjust to this new air pressure level. Like, it's gonna go back to the ground. It's gonna go back into its ground effect immediately. If you're not ready for that, so like what you would want to do is you are coming off of a table or if you're launching off of anywhere that has a sudden decline in altitude, you remember that and just add a little more collective. All that stuff just becomes instinctual, though. You will do it automatically. You'll know, like, as I come around a building or walls and objects. Oh, we're out of battery again. There we go. Put it down. I bet you could auto-rotate this thing. Oh, yeah. I went full collect. You can, but it already kind of, we weren't set up to do an auto-rotate. But yeah, you can, because this has, see, if you look at the tail on this one, it is actually connected by a drive shaft to the main motor, so they're both going to keep spinning until it spools all the way down. And as big as this thing is, we could actually carry momentum in the head, in the blades. Cool. You can't do that if it's got a tail motor, because if it shuts off, the tail motor immediately stops. The only thing then you can do is control your collective and cyclic, which helps. I've actually had that happen on some of my other helicopters that are the scaled ones, and even those you can still auto rotate them to a degree. It won't have the tail, so the whole body will start rotating, and then the only thing you can do is try to slow its descent, which worked. It actually worked. I saved a helicopter that was falling from, it fell from 100 feet. I don't remember why. I'm trying to think why. Oh, I had to kill it. Yeah, it was the MD500 with the bat. It's got a weird problem with the controller where it'll run away from the user sometimes. Which it did on me, and I hit the kill button from it just started going up, and by the time I realized I couldn't bring it down, it was maybe 100 feet up, so I hit the emergency stop, and that actually worked. But now it's just falling out of the sky, and the whole body's rotating, like it's just spinning like this as it's coming down, but I was still able to control the cyclic and collective. And I was able to land it. I actually got it lean to where it was aiming towards a bush, and it landed in that bush. So I still, anyways, with this kind, if it's got a shaft drive type setup, drive shaft, whatever, then you could actually sit there and auto rotate like a real helicopter. We'll go back to, I guess, yeah, the next thing you want to do after you get comfortable with hovering, right? So you get used to your hover. And you feel good about, like, I can go forward, backwards, left, right. I can keep it, you know, pretty much in one spot. Just practice picking it up and landing it where you want it. And this is going to be the hardest part of probably the first day or something, is just learning the cyclic and collective for lifting and setting down. Before you even touch the rotor at all, like, all we're doing is just lifting up and setting it back down. More or less where we want it. That's what I was gonna say. You can drag the skids around to keep it kind of touching the pavement. That way, when you're ready to set it down, like that, there you go. You can drag it around too while it's just barely in ground. It's not really quite in ground effect. So if I stop moving, it's gonna like be on the pavement again. Like right now, it's. I feel like we're sitting on the pavement. But you see, as soon as I get one of the skids off the ground, we can start sliding in that direction. I'm not going to touch the collective because it's good. Our collective has the perfect amount for doing this like slow positioning, maneuvering, like if you're trying to get it into an exact parking spot. Whoops. Remember, this collective is insanely, it's very touchy, and it needs to be. But you'll get used to that. So I'm just bringing it back. I'm gonna bring it forward again, like right. See, even for me, it's tricky sometimes. I usually don't come in this slow. This is great practice though for like scale flying. I don't come in quite that slow. I come in more like probably at a speed like this, and then I'll bring it back. I'll bring it this way, right? And then I might do something like I'm gonna pull back a little bit on the. There we go. Do something like that. Pull back a little bit on the cyclic, and then you saw it started to nose up. As it started to nose up, I took a little collective back out. Taking collective out will like stop it. You can stop it from going in a direction. Like, let's go this way. I'm gonna pull collective out. And I did that like a kind of like whoop whoop down. You know, I don't know how to explain it. You'll just play around with this level of flight, you know, staying in ground effect. And right now I'm not going to touch collective. That's another thing. While we're doing scale flight, let's call this scale flight. We're not 3D. We're not doing any 3D yet. We're just flying it like a regular helicopter. Let's do small inputs at a time. And what you're doing is like right there, like I wanted to make it stop, so I'm just countering those movements. Like if we're going this way, I don't know how to, you wanna get an idea of what we're doing here, go get you something like a pendulum, something like a necklace or something you could use like a pendulum. And swing that pendulum to the right, and then swing it back to the left, and see how that feels like physically for you. I haven't touched collective. It's moving up and down because as we gain momentum in a direction, now if I stop or go in another direction, it's going to translate that into altitude. We're not really going fast enough, but it did go up. You saw it come up and then it went back down, and it's like it was on a string. It's almost like if the helicopter was on a string and you're just rocking it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If it's coming too close to the pavement, go the other way. Watch. Like we'll get too aggressive, it's gonna hit the pavement. Oh no. Go to the other direction, and it'll start to bring it back up into the air. See how we gained altitude while we slowed down? While I brought it to a stop? We gained altitude, but as soon as we lost our speed, because speed can translate to altitude, and we lost speed, so that translated into a drop in altitude. So you're just trading things. That's how the whole universe works. Just trading things for something else. Right now we're just trading electricity to sit here and make this hover inside of a computer simulated reality that's running at 3,000 frames a second. I'm sorry, 2,500 frames per second. So this actually, you know what that means? It means that my computer is running reality at a physics reality at, especially for aerodynamics and gravity. This feels identical to me. Right here, all this feels exactly like it does while I'm in the real world. It feels exactly the same. I'm blown away. I mean, this is old technology, guys, but I guess I'm old. You know, I grew up playing, you know, Moon Invaders. All right. Space Invaders. Look at me. I can't even get it right. That's how old I'm getting. My brain don't work right no more. Hey, my brain don't work right, but I can still fly 3D. So my brain still works good enough to fly 3D. So you can see, I mean, I'm flying aggressive, but you come down and you see I instinctively like stopped it before and then I immediately settled it and then parked it. Kind of hard. And there you didn't even see me do it. You couldn't even see it because the very last second before we hit the pavement, I did collective up hard and then I settled it to the center. Like in a tenth of a second. That movement I did was instant. If I hadn't done it right, it would have exploded. Let me show you what that would look like. And it would look like about the same speed. You can run it back. Like, let's say I got it wrong. Let's see. See? Go run it back and see when I just set it down a moment ago and it didn't explode versus just then. We needed a new battery anyway. Sometimes I'll crash it. You'll see me crash it at the end of a flight. It's not because I couldn't land it. It's because I instantly get a fresh helicopter with a new battery. I can't say that about real life. Usually when you crash them in real life, you're spending a lot of money. So spend your money here where it costs digital dollars, which is 0. Digital dollars is the electric that you spent to play and learn, which is about 10 cents a day. 10 cents, well, it'd be, 10 cents an hour, right? 1,000 watt an hour. My computer don't even draw 1,000 watt an hour. It don't do a k-watt. It do probably 600. It can't even, that's its maximum. That's my PSU is a 650. Everything about this computer is efficient. I choose efficiency over performance because performance will come later and I'll get it cheap in the computer world. See, I just set collective. I had to add a little more. I was gonna say I set collective where I think I'm, you know, like let's go up and then I'm gonna bring it back down. I'm gonna bring collective down and then I'm gonna add it back in as we're like, you know, before we get to the pavement. I couldn't see where we were. Let me get back in front of me. I'm way more careful in real life also. I mean, like I said, it don't cost anything to blow this one up. So in real life, I'm more cautious before I make a maneuver. Like I think about stuff more. And here it's just like freestyle. I don't care if it blows up. Let's go up. And then I'm gonna bring it down. And I'm adding collective back, up. And then see, I almost hit the ground, but I'm like, oh, that's too fast. So we went hard up for just a second, got it to stop, brought it back into a hover. Let's bring it back and park it. And there, when I tailed up hard like that, I also took the collective out for a second. And what that does is it eats up momentum. Let's go forward. Oh, ooh, I was aggressive there. I forget how long these blades are. Wait, that was a blade strike. I can't do that with my M2. Can't do that. I mean, you'd have to really try. See, I'm gonna take the collective back. We would have been going up real hard otherwise. So you see, we're coming back down. Let's bring it back, and I'm gonna stop by pulling collective down to eat momentum. And then adding it back before we hit the ground. But you don't want to be that rough with it normally. Like, you know, you'll see the stunt guys doing that where they're like slamming the head into the pavement almost, but not like a quarter inch from hitting the pavement. Those guys, man, you'll get there though in 100 hours. If you spend 100 hours in here, you would do probably the same before you blow up your real one. So go for $80 and get like a Radio Master, whatever. Find one that you like the look of. Get a Radio Master because they have the Type-C port that lets you plug. I did not do any setup for this. All I did was plug the USB cable into my computer and it went da-dink and Windows 10, I'm still running. I ain't going to 11. Immediately found it and did the calibration. I didn't even have to calibrate it. It was already calibrated. I was going to, but it was already calibrated. I think in the game I had to go in and set the gimbals. Yeah, but that didn't take but 2 minutes. Then I was ready to fly and get the real experience of crashing a $5,000 helicopter over and over and over and over again. I crashed, I would say, $500,000 in helicopters in here. But every crash is a lesson, so crash as fast as possible. For like the first hour or whatever, you're just gonna keep crashing it. Who cares? Or maybe not. You get good at, like, you're like, I'm good at doing hovering. So then I'm gonna go ahead and start trying to do 3D. Because if you go watch my first video, I didn't even care about trying to scale fly it really. I'm like, I just immediately started doing backflips. Like, that was the first thing I did. I was like, well, if we invert collective, we should go up. And I was right. And then, and then the rest of it is just polishing to just continue flying without blowing it up. If you blow it up, who cares? In 3 or 4 seconds, you're gonna get a brand new one on the screen. This is like a $2,500 helicopter right here. And it's a big boy. I love how they move though. Now, you know what? I saw a 600 for a brand new one for $500 something today. A brand new 600, which is a little bit smaller than this. Hell, I might get one, guys. I mean, it's actually, I want to be honest with you, it's easier to fly these big ones. It's intimidating as hell. But in my mind, they carry more momentum, which makes them move more slowly. I mean, you can boss them around. Like, they got power. You hear the blades. You hear the blades cutting. This thing's got crazy power. It's 6 cell. It's a 6 cell. That's kind of rough. That's a crazy powerful helicopter. It's big, it's heavy, it's loud, and when you're this close to it, it's intimidating. When you hear it going blah blah in real life and it's like 2 feet from you, it's kind of scary. However, it like I said, I feel like it's just more forgiving in its own right. If you make the wrong move, it's your game over. But it's so smooth. It's so smooth. I just can't say anything else about the 700. Or those big, like a 900 or a big scale. They're like butter, and now I want one. I mean, I got my 300 now. I've never had a 300. The biggest before that was like a 250. So the 300 is now my biggest size, which is like less than half of this one. I'll bring it over here actually, so we can look at it nice and close. There we go. I mean, this is what they look like in real life. This one has like a joke for a tag. It says logo or something. Or no, wait, is this real? We should. I'm not gonna check. I don't want to bring up the internet, right? And that's right now. I lied. Let's see. Is that a real thing? RC Heli. And it was called Logo, right? Kind of high right now, guys. I can't. It's Friday. I'm ready to just not do. I want to do this till Monday. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it is a helicopter. I've never heard. I mean, I'm new. I thought it was a joke, like Logo brand or something like that. You know, like Bobo brand. But there it is. It's a real helicopter. And let's see how much it is. Okay, look, it's only $600. Oh, you probably like only or $750 at Heli Direct. You probably have different versions of it. It's 700. Anyways, that's not bad, because when I was a kid, these things were like $5,000. So okay, I'm old. I keep telling you, but I didn't know that. I was really in my head thinking this would be a $2,000 or $5,000 helicopter. So maybe I've only blown up $80,000 or something worth of helicopters. You hear me though? Do this first. Go get your radio. They're not that expensive. If you already have a computer or even a laptop that's from the last 10 years, it'll run this. You don't need a powerful computer. You don't need a new computer. You just need a Windows-based computer. This is free. The demo, I'm playing the demo because it gives me the same skills that I would get for the full version. And I don't want to spend money. It's only $40 or $50. I just, if I can do this for free until I get sick of looking at the sky, the same background, because you get one in the demo. You get one helicopter, and you get one background, and you get 4 training missions. And then you get a free flight. That's unlimited free flying, though, guys. I can do this all day for free without using any batteries. Without waiting for batteries to charge. I mean, believe me, I want to get out there and do it for real too. Like, I can't wait to get out there in real life. But this scratches the itch when you're not able to, because it feels so much the same that your mind and your muscle memories and all that is gonna get. You're gonna polish all of those skills that I just started doing like a couple of days ago. I just picked this up. I want to drive that home that I'm not a smart guy. I'm kind of dumb. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm just a regular guy. Kind of like video games. I got older now, and I don't really play video games anymore. The only games I play are simulators. So I have Flight Simulator 2020, 2024. All the different simulators for flight. I've got those, and then I don't even do racing simulation anymore, because racing, let's get flying, so we're not just sitting here. But yeah, I'll get back to the lesson real quick. You could just sit here and do the same once you figure out how to do something, just sit there and do it. Just sit there and do it over and over again. Be patient with yourself. In this, like I said, in the simulator, you can push yourself and be aggressive. And if you whoopsie daisy blow it up, because you haven't gotten used to it yet, it didn't cost you nothing. You didn't break the bank, man. If you crash your Ompi 2 and there goes $500 or $400, you're gonna be a little bit sad. If I almost did that, that's why I went and got the simulator, because I just got my 3D helicopter on last Sunday, which was a few days ago. And I flew it in Addy mode a few times, and it's beautiful. I just wanted to fly it. And that's when I realized I'm going to need to learn how to fly 3D correctly. I didn't even know that's how this worked. Look, I push forward and it stays, forward. I push backwards, it stays backwards. That is the opposite of how the what do they want to call them? You get row band or these other scale helicopters. All of those come with a like a GPS mode, and that's what when you see those dudes flying them, they're all flying in GPS mode and whatnot, and that's why it looks so robotic and crappy. That is why those kind of helicopters just look like. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. They don't move correct. They don't look right. They look like it's being driven by AI or something, because it is. I don't know. It doesn't look natural. That's the word. I hate when it goes far away like this, because I have trouble with orientation. Not in real life, but I don't, for some reason in the game. It's because of the camera and stuff. I prefer to keep it in the parking lot. Now, if I'm going like freestyle mode out there, I can take it as far as I want and usually keep control over it. But I still have trouble then, even because it gets small, and the background just looks it'll get to where it just looks the same. And when that happens, you lose like how how far away is it, like how fast is it moving. And then if you go too far by accident, then this isn't something I've ever had happen in real life, but it happens a lot in the simulator. If it goes too far out, I'll just lose all orientation, and then it's a game over. If I can't tell where heads or tails is, you can't fly. You end up doing everything. All your inputs are doing something completely wrong, and then you crash fast. Once that happens, what you would want to do if that happened in real life is just reach up on your radio. Here, listen.
3D mode, normal.
Well, I have mine at the top switch. If I was to ever have that happen in real life, I would click that switch on from 3D to ADDI mode, and then it would just put itself into a level hover, or at least it would level out. It doesn't hover for you, it'll just go level, and then you can get your orientation back. Once it goes flat level, then you can see, oh, okay, well, it went flat. Let's start rotating the tail around and see where the tail is. Oh, okay, I see tail. Now I can bring the nose around. Okay, now I can bring it home. That's what you would want to do. I've never had to do that. I said I had a runaway where I had to hit the kill stop, but it's not because I had lost orientation. It's because the radio went crazy. And you know why that radio went crazy? Because it was one of those GPS type. I've seen horror stories because I was going to get one. I almost bought one for Christmas. I was going to get a like a Roban, or like they got that Airwolf. Now I realized they also have 3D mode for those. I also realized that I can just get a 3D helicopter, and then later on I can put a body, or get a body for it, which is exactly what I'm doing with my M2. I already picked out my body. I'm getting a Hughes 300. They've got others. There's people printing 3D bodies for them. Bring it home. It's getting too small. See, I didn't even know we were over top of those buildings right here. This isn't the problem in real life. You never sit there like that trying to figure out, unless you're just a complete moron, I guess. If you let it get so far from you like that in real life, and you had all this time to not have that happen. In real life, let's see, it would, to scale, our vision would look probably like this right here. Somewhere, but yeah, maybe right here, actually, from where we're standing. If you were standing in real life from this distance, your actual resolution would be like this, but the entire wall. Like, I only have this little window to look through. So I try to keep it zoomed out, and I try to stay in the parking lot. Like I said, if I'm gonna go out real quick and bring it back, if I want to go do some like big move, some big maneuver. But if I stay out there for too long, it gets bad. Whee! Right. This is good for training too. You can treat it like a pendulum. Practice cruising around. Like I was saying, once you get back to lesson time, once you get used to just hovering it and parking it and hovering it and parking it, then and you get used to like what happens when you turn the tail. See, it's coming back towards us. I didn't touch the cyclic. And bring here, and it's gonna almost park itself. It came back down to basically where I wanted it. I was actually aiming for right, like on top of this, And I missed. You get where I'm going? You want to sit there and just do that. Like you could just practice going from one landing, one spot, and then like I want to park it like here. And then I want to bring it back, and I want to park it in front of us again. Put it back where it was. Right where it was. I've got 10 hours in the game, guys, and I can tell you from reality, it feels identical to reality. This feels I needed a new battery. We're down 20% or something. Put a new battery in. But I'm saying it feels so much like real life that you're going to develop the same skills. You're going to develop the same understanding, which is the most important part. You know what's going to happen when you go out in the field and the first time in real life? You're going to be like, oh my God, this is better. You're going to be nervous, probably, maybe. I was, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I started up the 300 and I went into rate 3. Like the thing's like spooling up, like I'm like, oh, is it gonna stop spooling up? Like I'm starting to back up, and it's like half the size of this one, or a third of the size, smaller, and it's intimidating. Most importantly, you just you want to have fun. It's gonna feel so much fun when. It's gonna feel so fun when you start doing this sort of stuff, and you start figuring out, like, oh, I can just go inverted when I want to, and it just feels like butter, like so smooth. What it does is it relaxes your mind in a way that I don't know what else can. I mean, once you're not nervous of it anymore, that's why you need to go in the simulator. The simulator is going to make you confident. If you can do it in here, you can do it in real life. And you used your radio. You've been practicing on the same radio that you're going to use in real life. It's like the car you drive. The radio's like the car. I mean, so is the car, I guess, in this instance, but the radio is your reference to the vehicles that you fly with. I'm gonna put it like more in front of us this time, like right here. Just gonna squiggle it in. I wasn't, when I came up, and that's another thing. You're not always thinking about where am I gonna put it. Where am I going with it? That's fine once you're better. When you get to that point, I don't really think. I don't always say, oh, I need to put it exactly down like on this exact spot. Like if I was aiming for that. That's when I'm practicing. But when I'm just having fun, like I'm not always a perfectionist. Like we're gonna park somewhere in this area. Like. I'll park it here. I don't know. Who cares? Once you get good at that, then you can start trying to put it on an exact spot. And then once you get past that, you won't even care anymore. You're like, you just kind of land it and within the 2 feet of where you thought, or a foot, and that'll just get more narrow. It'll just, as you get better, it'll just narrow down to where you just put it where you want it. Oops, I'm gonna break the blades. Again, I'm used to if it's a smaller scale, everything just moves faster. So on the bigger ones, you actually have to ask it more. Like you have to ask it more to get to start going, and the momentum to get moving. And to make it stop, you also have to ask more to make it stop, just the same. But when you're a new pilot, actually that feels okay, because when you have I hope my mic's not been too hot this whole time. Testing, testing, testing. Right. I thought we were going into clipping. Looked like, yeah. Let's go back to training. So we'll go ahead. Once you get past doing hovering, you could, and you get confident with your landing, then you start getting more brave with it. Start taking it out more, further. Start going faster with it. Look, am I in trouble? No, I just need to bring the nose up a little bit. Am I in trouble? No, just bring the tail back. Right. Gain altitude. If we're going forward, it's like a sled. You can think of it like that too. It's an air sled. So now we're going downhill. So we gotta go back uphill. You just create a hill. You just make the hill with your input. You're just creating a new hill. Like the hill's going up, but if I don't touch anything, we're gonna have to come backwards, right? I am touching things, but so now I'm gonna bring collective out. By out I mean down, and I brought the tail up, so that what that did is it ate up all of our forward momentum, and it brought us down because I took a lot of collective out, like most of it. And that'll change that curve. Like that, as you take collective out, if you didn't even touch your cyclic, you just start taking collective out, that's gonna change the curve of that new the angle you created with your cyclic. I don't know. Let me try to explain that better. Let's say right here we have this much altitude with this much cyclic. I'm gonna point this way. I'm gonna push cyclic forward. See, it's like a sled. We're just gonna go downhill, and we're gonna keep going downhill until we hit the pavement. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna let it do it. Hit the pavement, but we didn't bust the blades. Good job. We didn't break the blades. This thing always, anytime it hits the ground, it breaks the blades. This thing's fragile. In my experience, it seems. Let's bring it back. I'm bringing back tail first, and I'm gonna lose that speed and altitude by taking collective out. I took out like half that, or I brought basically a little below neutral. There we go. I mean, this is practice for me too, I did so much 3D stuff that I was like struggling with just regular flying the first time I went to regular fly. I'd actually say right now I'm a better 3D stunt pilot than I am just normal flying. Normal flying feels it feels restrictive now, which is weird. I can't imagine not being able to just start doing that without, if it was limited to a 40-degree or something bank. I'd feel trapped, or so. It would feel like a handicap now, which is sad because I'm looking at all of my scale helicopters. Like they're just gonna sit on the shelf, I guess now. And occasionally, maybe get used. Maybe I'll have to give them away to some new, people that maybe have interest in helicopters but are scared to go and get 3D. It's a good entry because that's what got me into wanting. That's what got me into them was RC Era, those little toy ones. But you can still get, a feel with the toy ones. It's gonna ruin you'll have to relearn how to fly. That's the problem. At some point, you're gonna grow out of them. You're gonna get bored with it and grow out of the RC Era. Interesting that this is their name, Era. You'll have a toy grade era, and then you'll want to move into the hobby grade era. If you like it, it'll happen pretty fast. It's the same thing with motorcycles. Like you buy a small one, and you're like, I should have got the 1000. And a month later, you go back to the dealer, and you have to go do all that again, right? So it kind of want to start, what you would want to do ideally then is start with something like, oops, collected this up. Start with something like an M1 or an S1, which is going to cost you, I've said it before, I'm gonna say go with an M1 because you're going to get the Radio Master. If you buy the Ready to Run kit, you get a battery, you get the helicopter, and you get a radio, and it's all ready to go. You get the charger for the battery. And all the batteries are cheap on them. They're like, you know, 3 for $1. I'm exaggerating, but they're cheap. They're like, I want to say $7. You can get them, I've found them as cheap as $7 a piece for 2-cell 300s. If you buy like certain, you know, certain vendors and certain volumes, you get them so cheap. So that's a plus. The small, this is like a 150 scale, so it's real little, like the size of a 20-ounce bottle or something. And you can crash them, and they usually don't break when you crash them. Depending, I mean, you can. There's limits to everything, but they're way tougher. Like you can break these big ones by accident, you know, a little mistake, and it's always fatal. Like it's just tragedy. Anyhow, but the little ones you can beat them up pretty good, and when they do break, it's like a 10-cent part. So it's not a big deal. If you do crash them and they break, it's not gonna hurt as much. And then those will come with ADDI mode, but I was saying don't really use that. Get your helicopter with the radio, and then come into the flight simulator and just spend like a couple hours here first. Like do 2 hours, 3 hours. And you'll be surprised at how fast you end up doing cartwheels in the simulator. And then now I feel like I can go, you know, I haven't done any cartwheels with my MP or my M2. I haven't done any cartwheels with it in real life, but I feel like I will be able to now, and I understand it now. Like normal flight is, you know, you'll probably pick that up pretty quick. And I know you'll probably pick up the 3D flight just as well. There's nothing hard about it. The anything hard about it is like in your head. It's you don't know how to do it yet, and that's why you think maybe it's too hard or something. It's not. It's not too hard. And you won't really understand the joy of being, you know, flying these until you do it. It just feels like Zen. It just feels like the most relaxing thing. So maybe I'll just cut the video. We've already been running for a while, an hour. And just like I was saying, just practice doing maneuvers over and over again, the same maneuver until you can confidently say you can do it, and you just feel confident that every time you do it, it's just perfectly nailed. And then and then go try something new. And if you crash, like I said, it costs you $1. And then you can learn how to do, whoops, we're gonna crash. I tried to save it. And you crash it as hard as you want. See, I wouldn't do that maneuver in real life yet, what I was about to do. I would only do it in here until I can do it 10 million times. I can do these all day. Like cartwheels. Or even these. Where I got messed up a second ago, I think I just lost my orientation a little bit. Which is a lot easier to do in the simulator. Like when it goes over your head in the simulator, you really don't know. Because it's a 3D helicopter, orientation could be anything. So it gets really, as it goes over your head, you're not really totally sure if it's going directly over your head or to the left or right of you. It gets weird. And in real life, I've never, ever had problems like that. But I'm just telling you don't feel bad. Like if you have that same struggle in the simulator with distance and orientation when it's like over your head or too far away, just know it's not like, it's not really a problem that you're gonna run into in the real world, because in real life you have such a wider scope of everything around you. You have way more better awareness. This is like looking through a window, and it'd be like looking through the window of your bedroom and trying to. I wouldn't even do that. I've done it, but it's sketchy. Like, I've sat and flown it outside while I'm in my bedroom looking through the window, and then brought it back and landed it on my porch. Like, I've done that, but it feels super sketchy the same way kind of like this does. So maybe this will make you even a better pilot because of that. Because once you hit the field, you're going to be like, oh, wow, I feel like it feels way better out here in real life. So all you've been doing is mastering and honing these type of 3D maneuver skills without costing a lot of money, and just the freedom of like being able to do constant loops and stuff, and oh, I want a new battery, like let's crash it and get a new battery, put a battery in it real fast. Can't do this in real life, but you're gonna polish your skills. You're gonna have infinite battery time. Right, I said everything stays where you put it. So even when it resets if your collective is wherever it was, it'll just start taking off again. If it respawns and your collective is up, it's just gonna go up. In real life, you get a warning. Like when you turn your radio on, it'll be like warning collective or whatever. It'll be a throttle not 0 or whatever. It says something. Let me turn it on and off. It gives me a warning.
Welcome to HTX. Throttle warning.
Throttle warning. Yeah, throttle warning, not idle. And then it goes throttle, then you gotta put it down before it'll even let you use the radio. Like it'll be, the screen is red and it's like, warning, throttle. And the same thing if you
Danger, armed.
Danger, armed. And I set up the commands for all that, which is, the radio has all these things built into it, so you can go in there and tell it what do you want it to say when you switch whatever on or off. So when I switch from danger, armed, so that's when I turn the main blade on. Throttle cut, and that's when I turn the main blade off. But when I turn it on, it'll say, danger, armed. And I have a 3-second delay. You should do that. If you have a 3D helicopter bigger than a 150 scale, I mean, I'd probably even do it on the little ones because they're powerful even the small ones are powerful. But let's say you got a bigger one. You need to go ahead and set up like a 2 or a 3-second delay on when you arm the main rotor. Danger, armed. You need to not be holding on to it when that happens. And like, let's say you had the battery plugged in. As soon as you plug the battery into the helicopter, it is turned on, and you have your radio on, and it's bound to the helicopter, and you're holding on to the helicopter, and you accidentally bump the switch to arm it. I have 3 seconds to turn it back off. So I've actually done that by accident. I've actually clicked it on by accident, and without that 3-second delay, it would have instantaneously spooled up to whatever. If I was on 3, it would have spooled up to 3, which is terrifying to think about. Like if you were holding on to it, or if it was close to you, and it would suck. I don't want to get hit by at all. I think it would take your finger off or something. I'm not kidding. Like I got hit by my small 150, and it bruised my bone for like a month. Like it still hurts. I don't know. That was 6 months ago. I just poked around at my bone, and it's still sore where I got hit by that blade. Anyhow, if you got hit by a 300 scale, hell, I don't know. You'd be going to the hospital for stitches at minimum. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not a toy. You want to come into the simulator and get good at it, so you don't have a go trip to the hospital or send somebody else to the hospital. I don't know what the hell would happen if I got hit with my 300. I gotta go Google that. I'm kind of scared to look at it. But anyways, like that's why you want to be confident as a pilot, so you don't panic mode and hurt, you know, either blow your helicopter up or God forbid crash it into yourself or somebody. Crash it 10,000 times in the simulator. I still crash it. Granted, I've only got 10 hours behind the stick, but I'm still getting used to how I fly the little ones, the toy ones fine. But like I said, they have that Addy mode and stuff. They'll still land them just the same. It feels kind of the same because I took the collective spring out of my toy grade. But the toy grade, the only difference with that is it won't now. After doing that, the only difference is how it feels is you can't go upside down, and it won't let you bank angle beyond 40 degrees or something. And if you force it to, it'll kind of panic mode. Like it'll do a weird thing. And by that, like let's go up real high up pitch. Like on a 3 helicopter, you can just nose up like that and let it stall out, and then. Well, if you do that with the toy ones, which I've done, you know, I forced them to make that maneuver, and it's like the controller like does everything possible to try to override your inputs and make it flat so you don't, you know, crash. But it panic modes because you went beyond like where it wants the user to fly. Like it's you know, it doesn't know what to do about it. It's like that's way too much. We're going, you know, past 40 degrees. Like we can't handle this, and then it'll try to swing it back for you, and so, you know, it doesn't. It feels now. I don't want to fly them because now I would feel like restricted. I'd feel like it was not. It would not. I don't know. You just outgrew it. That's what happened. That's all. Uh-oh, we're gonna crash. Nope. See, I didn't crash. I thought we were because I lost orientation. Like if I keep it in one spot, we could do this all day. If I go too far out, I'm end up losing orientation, and then yeah, that's never good. I think we'll go ahead and park it, and then I'll call it quits. Go ahead and get you just if you did anything first, maybe just to see if like it's for you, because you're gonna fall in love with it. Before you even get yourself the heli, just go get an $80 Radio Master and download the free simulator and fly this 700 scale helicopter. And then see if you don't want to just keep doing that or not. Because you know you're going to fall in love with that. As soon as you start doing that, you're going to be like, oh, I want to do that again and again and again. And oh, there's the battery. It was perfect timing. Park it and cut it off. So why not? You know what I mean? You can do that for 80 bucks. Not even. You could get a cheaper radio. I think actually the Radio Master Pockets are $54. Something like that, and they do a lot. They got a lot of function, so it's not. It's a radio that you can grow with. It can grow with you for a while. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, at some point maybe you want a radio with a color screen, but I mean outside of that, the Pocket or any of the other radios are going to do all the same kind of functions, and by that I mean they're going to have the same level kind of trim settings, and so you can set the pitches and stuff how you like, and set the all kinds of different things. You can set RPMs and the head speed. You could set it how you want for what mode you want. You can set extra channels to do different things if you wanted to. You can change how punchy it feels. You can make it. You could make it all like only fly like a scale. You know. Not that you wouldn't have 3D function. I'm saying that you can change. So you can put like -30 dead, for negative collective, so that right now it's 100. Like you get the same amount of force either way, which feels so crazy. The first time you fly like that, you've never felt like how that. it feels like the first thing I thought was like, this feels like a laser beam. I don't know how else to describe it. It just moves like a laser precise scalpel or something. It's just, I don't know. It got me. I'm smitten. And I think everybody that wasn't afraid to try it would get smitten too within a short period of time. We need to have a revival of the RC helicopter age or something, you know. When I was a kid, they were just unreachable. They're, like I said, the radio was $500-600 for a radio. Like, I mean, now you gotta go get the helicopter and all, you have to make one. They were kits. If you find a ready to fly one, it was because somebody else built it already, and it was still crazy expensive. I'm gonna go ahead and cut video. Y'all have a good one. Good weekend.